Hi everyone, in this tutorial I will teach you how to solve the Skewb by using the Sarah intermediate variation. It is a method that will help you to get times around 7 to 8 seconds. This method consists of 3 steps. The first one is solving the first layer, the second one is about solving the opposite layer, and the last one is about solving the remaining centers. In this video, I'll focus mainly on the second and third step because I assume that you already know the beginner's method and you know how to solve the first layer. Now I'll scramble the cube and I'll show you how this method works. In this method, we'll be using only two algorithms. I think that you already know, but I will present them to you in order to be sure that you know them. The first algorithm is called sledge, and if I say sledge, you have to do like this. Right corner, down, left corner, down, right corner, up, left corner, up. And that's it. And the second algorithm, it is called hedge. So for hedge, we have to do like this. Left corner down, right corner down, left corner up, and right corner up. Now I'll scramble the cube and we will start the tutorial. So when I try to solve this cube, when I'm choosing my first layer, I try to find the easiest case possible in order to save some time. For example, in this case, I would start with white because I already have a corner next to the white center, and then I can put this corner here, then this corner here, and then I'll solve this remaining corner like this. So after finishing the first layer, as it is in the beginner method, I didn't use anything special. From now on, we'll talk about the Sarah's intermediate variation. So I started with the white color, that means on the opposite layer should be the yellow color. So I have to bring here the yellow center with all the yellow corners here. If you started with red, let's say, that means that on the opposite layer you should bring the orange center and the orange corners. If you started with, I don't know, let's say blue, that means on the opposite layer you have to bring the green center with the green corners around it. So I started with white, and now this is the first case where we have the yellow center here in front of us, one yellow corner here, two yellow corners oriented here, and one yellow corner oriented here at the back. So for this case, we have to hold it like this, and the algorithm is only a sledge. So the sledge is right corner down, left corner down, right corner up, left corner up. And as you can see, there is the yellow center with the yellow corners around it. The second case is this one, where we have the yellow center here in front of us, another yellow corner here oriented to us, two yellow corners oriented here on the left, and one yellow corner oriented here on the back. For this case, all we have to do is a hedge. So we hold it like this, and the algorithm is hedge. So left corner down, right corner down, left corner up, right corner up. So the third case, here we already have the yellow center on the top layer, one yellow corner is oriented to us, two yellow corners are oriented here on the left, and one yellow corner is oriented here on the back. So we hold the case like this, and the algorithm is sledge, sledge. So sledge, and then one more sledge. And we solve the yellow layer, the opposite layer. In the next case, where we already have all the yellow corners oriented on the top layer and the yellow center is here in front of us, we have to hold the puzzle like this with the yellow center on the back and the four corners here on top, and the algorithm is sledge, y2, sledge. This is the next case, where we have the yellow center here in front of us. There is a yellow corner oriented here in front of us next to the yellow center. two opposite yellow corners here oriented on the top layer, and one yellow corner here oriented on the right. We have to hold the puzzle like this, with the yellow center here on the left, and the algorithm is sledge, Y, sledge. The next case is similar to the previous one, but now this yellow corner is not oriented to the yellow center. So, for recognizing this case, we have the yellow center here in front of us, this yellow corner oriented here on the left. These two yellow corners are opposite and oriented on the top layer, and this yellow corner here oriented on the back face. For this case, again, we have to hold the yellow center on left, and the algorithm is hedge, Y, and again hedge. The next case, we have the yellow center here in front of us, with this yellow corner oriented to the yellow center, two opposite yellow corners oriented on the top layer, and one yellow corner here oriented on the left. We have to keep the yellow center, again, here on the left, and the algorithm is sledge, Y, and hedge. And now, another case, we have the yellow center here oriented to us. Now this yellow corner is not oriented to the yellow center anymore, it's here, oriented on the right. These two opposite corners, yellow corners, are oriented on the top, and here we have a yellow corner oriented on the bottom. We have to hold a case like this, with the yellow center on the right this time, and the algorithm is sledge, Y prime, and sledge. Now we'll talk about the last three cases, which are a little bit harder because every case consists of three sledges, hedges, or sledges and hedges. So this is the first harder case, where we have the yellow center already oriented on the top layer, two yellow corners oriented to the top layer, one yellow corner here oriented in front of us, and one yellow corner here oriented on the right layer. The algorithm is this: sledge, Y, sledge, Y, hedge. This is the next harder case, where we have the yellow center here on the right with two yellow corners oriented to it, one yellow corner oriented here in front of us, and one yellow corner oriented on the back layer. We have to hold the case like this with the yellow center on the right, and the algorithm is sledge, Y, sledge, Y2, sledge. This is the next case, where we have the yellow center here on the left. This yellow corner is here oriented in front of us. These two yellow corners are oriented here on the right layer, and this yellow corner is oriented on the back. We have to hold the keys like this, with the yellow center on the left, and the algorithm is sledge, Y prime, sledge, and Y2, sledge. So after using one of the algorithms that I have shown you earlier, you will manage to solve the second step of the Sarah's intermediate variation, which is solving the top layer. After this, the third step is solving all the remaining centers. There are three cases, and we will go through each one of them. So this is the first case, when after solving the first layer and the opposite layer, another layer has been randomly solved. We don't care about it, we just know that it was solved, because as you can see now, in my case, orange is solved. And we have to solve three more centers. We have to put them in their correct position. So now, in order to apply the algorithm, we have to put the Skewb in its correct position for applying the algorithm. So we have to choose the layer one of these three layers where the color of the center is the opposite color of the corners around it. So in our case is this one, because we have here the green center, and green is the opposite color of the blue, and the corners are blue around the green center. In order to hold the cube correctly, we have to hold the randomly layer that had been installed, in our case orange, on the bottom, and the layer with the opposite colors that I mentioned before here in front of us, the white and the yellow center. The white and the yellow layers will be here on the right and on the left. Doesn't matter which is on the right and which is on the left. The thing that matters the most is that the layer with the opposite colors to be in front of us, and the layer that had been randomly solved earlier to be here on the bottom. So we hold the case like this, and the algorithm is sledge, y2, sledge. This is the next case where there are no more randomly solved layers. In this case, this center needs to go here, and this center needs to go here, and here is the same. This center needs to go here, and this center needs to go here. The algorithm moves these two centers and these two centers on the back if we hold the Skewb like this. And before applying the algorithm, first things first, we have to bring this center here on top, like this. After we brought it on top, we have to do 3 sledges. So sledge, 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 and then bring the center back here on the right. This is the last case where on each unsolved layer you can see that the color of the center is the opposite color of the corners around it. It doesn't matter how you hold this case, because technically it moves this center here and this center here, this center here and this center here. All that matters is that the first layer that you have solved to be on the bottom and the second layer that you have solved to be on top. And the algorithm is sledge, y2, hedge, y2, sledge. And now let's do an example solved by using Sarah intermediate method. So I scramble the Skewb randomly. I will solve the red layer first. So I already have this corner here. This corner needs to go here next to this one. This one needs to go here, and the remaining corner needs to go here. Now, because I started with the red color, that means that on top I have to bring the orange corners and center. This is one of the harder cases. So I have the orange center here on the left, one orange corner oriented here in front of me, 2 orange corners here oriented on the right, and 1 orange corner here oriented on the back. Then the algorithm was sledge, y prime, sledge, and y2, sledge. Now is that case where a randomly layer had been solved. I have to keep it on the bottom and the layer with the opposite colors here in front of me. The first 2 layers are here, and the algorithm is sledge, y2, sledge. This is how you solve the Skewb by using the Sarah intermediate method. I hope that you understand all the steps that I have shown you, and if you have any problems or questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Thank you for watching me, and see you in the next videos.